This is the Core 9-person instant cabin tent, the big green cabin with the 14 by 9 foot floor and a 78-inch center height. My first impression was how fast it goes from bag to standing shelter. I pulled it out, spread the base, walked the legs up, and locked the telescoping poles. A true minute or two and it was up, solo. Key features that hit me right away are the pre-attached frame, the roomy cabin shape, the 2 doors with lots of windows, and a mesh ceiling that keeps things bright and airy. The look is a classic cabin, straight walls, a slightly peaked roof, and a clean green and gray color scheme with subtle accents. It feels more like a portable room than a traditional tent. Inside, the straight walls matter. I can stand upright across most of the floor, and that 78-inch peak height removes the hunching that usually comes with dome tents. 2 queen airbeds fit with space for totes and bags. And the floor area is 126 square feet, so moving around with a couple of people is actually comfortable. The mesh ceiling adds light and air, but also means you're relying on the small rainfly during wet weather. The vibe inside is open and hotel-like when the windows are unzipped. With the room divider clipped in, it splits into 2 sleeping spaces, but it's more of a visual split than real privacy, and sound passes right through. From my experience, setup is where this tent earns its name. The poles are pre-attached, so instant actually means extend and lock. Telescoping just means the legs slide out and click into place, no threading poles through sleeves. I stake the 4 corners and throw on the rainfly when I expect dew or drizzle. It's freestanding, which means it stands without stakes, but I still use stakes and guylines for stability. Guylines are the cords you run out from the walls to stakes to keep the tent from shifting in wind. Teardown is a touch slower than setup. The first times took me around 5 to 8 minutes, because you need to press the release buttons and collapse things in the right order. Once I had the rhythm, I was packing it into the bag in under 5 minutes. Carrying and storage are where the trade-offs show up. The packed length is around 48 inches, longer than many trunks like to handle, and the weight is about 37 pounds. It's fine for car camping and pulling from the back seat or a hatchback, but it's bulky, and hauling it from a distant parking area takes some effort. The big carry bag helps, and the steel stakes are durable, but the whole kit is not light. Weather performance was mixed. Light breezes and fair weather, great. The ventilation system works with lower intake vents that pull cool air up and a mesh roof that lets hot air escape. On warm days, I open the windows and it feels airy. When it's hot and still, it does heat up like any big polyester tent. A small battery fan made a real difference for me. When rain showed up, I started noticing the tent's weak spot. There's H2O Block fabric with a 1200mm rating and taped seams in a lot of places. But water found its way in along the floor-to-wall seam and around some window hardware during steady rain. The floor seam is flicked rather than fully taped like a bathtub floor on backpacking tents. After my first wet night, I seam sealed that lower seam and dabbed sealant at the window latch points. That simple DIY step cut the seepage down a lot on the next outing. Still, the fly is pretty minimal, so I close the windows and both doors when weather rolls in, which kills the nice airflow. In stronger wind, I used every stake and guyline and aimed the shorter side into the gusts. It held up in moderate wind, but I wouldn't pick this for harsh weather or an exposed ridge. One thing I learned the hard way: be careful around the center hub when collapsing the frame. The locking joints can pinch if your hand is in the wrong spot. I got a sharp bite to my finger once when I rushed. I slowed down after that, pressed the buttons with a knuckle, and kept fingers clear of hinges. No issues since, but I wish the warnings were more obvious during setup. The interior organization is underrated. The wall pockets kept chargers, headlamps, and keys off the floor, which matters with a large group. The 2 doors mean fewer people climbing over each other at night. The included room divider made it easy to split kids on one side and bags or a cot on the other. It's not private, but it helps control chaos. Durability has been good so far. The stitching looks clean, zippers run smoothly, and the fabric feels tough enough for seasonal use. I've seen users keep this tent going for years with basic care. Dry it before storing, brush off dirt, and don't force zippers. The speed and simplicity are the reason I keep taking this tent. In my opinion, the instant frame changes setup from figure-it-out time to drop bags and relax time. It's perfect for after-work arrivals at camp when sunlight is low. The livability is the other big win. Standing room, straight walls, And a real-life layout make it feel like a cabin rather than a shelter you crouch in. 2 queen air beds fit without contortions, and the 2-door flow works great with families. I also like the ventilation design for mild weather. Lower vents pulling cool air, and the mesh roof letting heat out actually work. The storage pockets and included accessories, like the rainfly, room divider, guylines, and plenty of steel stakes, are practical. Little things like double-stitched seams and the sturdy pull structure have held up for me. The freestanding nature means I can pitch it on hard-packed sites without searching for anchor trees. If I could change a few things, I'd ask for a larger, full-coverage rainfly that drapes down over the doors and windows. I'd also love a fully taped bathtub floor seam from the factory. The current design needs extra seam sealing for rainy trips. The weight and long-packed size are part of the instant cabin trade-off, but they still make transport awkward. Heat buildup is real on hot, windless days, so a fan is a must. With the divider in, I also miss having a separate door to the main cabin space. In my opinion, this tent is a specialized tool. It shines when you want a super fast setup, a big and comfortable interior, and you're camping in fair to moderate weather. From my experience, you can make it rain ready with some prep. Seam seal the floor-to-wall junction, dot the window latch areas, and always carry the guylines. It's perfect for car campers, families, and groups that value convenience at the site and plan around the forecast. I'd recommend this for people who want easy weekends at state parks, music festivals, backyard sleepovers, and road trips where comfort and speed matter more than stormproofing. If you routinely camp in heavy rain or strong wind, or you need a tent for shoulder seasons and unpredictable conditions, look at a model with a full coverage fly and a fully taped bathtub floor. Key features that sold me are the 2-minute setup, the generous headroom, the 2 doors with lots of windows, and the overall livability. The compromises are weather coverage and bulk. In conclusion, the Core 9-person instant cabin tent 4008 is a great value if you know what you're getting. A spacious, easy, family-friendly cabin for fair weather that can handle light to moderate rain with some DIY sealing and smart site selection. I will post full information about the Core 9-person instant cabin tent in the comments section. See you in the following videos.